He has spoken on the topics faith, family and freedom in Cuba, Belgium, Brazil, Congo, UK and all over the USA to crowds from 14 to 40,000. International leadership speaker, trainer and coach. Author of Learn to Raw Leadership, Attitude Hack, Live a More Excellent Life, 5 Battle Strategies of a Victorious Warrior. 2021 President's Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. Founding partner of the John Maxwell team. Toastmaster International Speech Competition semi-finalist. Founder of Tell It Like It Is TV, ThatGuyRocks.com and ThatGuySpeaks.com. Creator of Story Power TV, Transforming Grace TV, and Leading Leaders Podcast. Producer of 4 TV programs and podcasts for Liftable TV and World Trumpet Television as well as multiple social media channels. Please help me welcome J Loren Norris.
If a bear made its way into your backyard because you had a feeder out there, like a little bird feeder with like a little bear food in it, and it came into your backyard and it ate one of your 6 children, how long before you stopped putting bear food in the bird feeder at your own house? Difficult question, I know, but that's the kind of thought metaphor I want to trod through in this episode of Leading Leaders. Stay tuned. Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast, and it really fascinates me how people will put themselves in harm's way, or their family, or their team, and then complain that harm has come to them. What? It's like the person who's always buying a lottery ticket but can't seem to pay the rent, and then when they find themselves homeless, they're like, I don't understand why this happened. Well, I don't know. Maybe it was the $87 you spent on lottery tickets instead of paying your rent that led you to be homeless, because the lottery ticket didn't pay off. It was just $87 every week gone. That's almost $400 a month. That's half the rent. That's not hard math. It's also not hard discipline. It's a series of choices. Well, what if you had 6 or 7 children and one of those children was eaten by a bear in your own backyard because you fed the bears? And so they came out of the woods and they came to your yard and they ate out of the bear bird feeder, and then they scarfed up a child. And you thought to yourself, that's horrible. I love my children. I don't want my children to be eaten by bears. But you kept putting bear food in the bird feeder. And then another bear came back and he brought all his friends and they ate another child. How many times would you let this process repeat before you go, hold up, get rid of the bird feeder, get rid of the bear food? I mean, is it after the 2nd child or the 3rd child that you call the wildlife department and go, hey, we got a bear problem? And yeah, I mean, yes, I fed them. They came because it was food, but then they ate a couple of children and now the bears need to go, and maybe wildlife can like scuttle them off somewhere else. Hey, is it after the 4th child or the 5th child that you would say, you know what? Enough of this. I'm taking bear matters into my own bare hands, and I'm going to get a rubber bat and I'm going to meet that bear at the fence. I'm going to handle it myself. Or I'm going to get a wireless bear removal device and I'm going to remove the bears myself, or send them where my children are. At what point would you say, enough is enough, I've had enough, I'm done? I don't know if you've been watching, but in the last several months, like from January-ish of 2024 till like July-ish of 2024, there have been lawsuits all over the country. That lawsuits about topics that 4 years ago we were told, no, you can't even talk about that. And now those lawsuits are coming back to say, okay, well, so 4 years ago we said you couldn't talk about it. And if you did talk about it, then you would get canceled, or you would get shut down, or you would get jailed. Yeah, they did. If you just brought it up, no money for you, no videos online for you, no legal ramifications for you that are not harsh and terrible and immediate and swift. No, it's a pretty big deal. You can't, no, don't be talking about that, because it never happened. Never happened. Now here we are 4 years later, after the 3 or 4 months that the nonsense was happening. We pretended like A, it didn't happen, and B, you can't talk about it if it did, and C, no, we're not lying about it. 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 We're not hiding anything. We're not lying about it. Okay, so we lied. That was 4 years ago. What are you going to do about it? I mean, almost 500,000 of those little scribble your name, make your choice, put it on the paper, stick it in the machine, comes out the other side. 500,000 of those cannot be found or validated. And ironically, in the place that they cannot be found or validated, a particular accountant that rhymes with Blubbin in a state over there in the east along the border above Florida, that particular place, that 500,000 votes, potentially could have changed the outcome of the whole 2020 process. And now all of a sudden, they can't find them. Those paper, write your name on them. No, can't find them anywhere. Ironically, just this last week, the same thing happened in Venezuela. Coincidence, right? The same company that runs those machines with that in the zzz, yeah, same group of people, same results. I know a bear ate your other 2 children, but surely it's not the bear's fault. I mean, you fed them. See how ridiculous this is getting? The question I have to ask, though, is when the same people who knew they lied when they lied about a laptop, and people said, if I'd known that, that would have changed the way I selected bears. The same people who lied about, no, nothing to see here, who 4 years before that said, you cannot trust that process. Those same people are now telling you, it doesn't really matter now. I mean, it's ancient history 4 years ago. I mean, that's almost 48 months. Some people are still breastfeeding at that point, 48 months. They're now telling you, trust us, we got this. We have complete control of that southern line of that's their country and this is our country. That, you know, that river, stream. Have you ever driven along there? Yeah. I took a train one time from San Antonio to LA, and the train followed the path of that crooked little river. There are places where you could fall from one country to the other and not know you're in the other country. And I'm not exaggerating. There are places where what we would call a line that divides one nation from the other goes under the highway. And the highway's in the, but all you got to do is walk under the culvert. Not exaggerating. Go drive it yourself and see. And yet we wonder why fentanyl is eating our children like a big bear. Why hundreds of thousands have died of overdoses, why they're losing their minds and they're not able to perform in schools, and they're being told things in schools that we go, wait, what? Where did you even get that? Well, that's not any book I've ever read. Oh, Wikipedia. Yeah, that's right. It changed yesterday. Okay, yeah. So the facts are different today than they were. The history is different today than it was yesterday, because it's kind of like that 4 years ago thing. We didn't really lie about it, but it was inconvenient then and now. So the truth that we're going to tell you now is it's not a lie, it's a different truth. If you're in leadership and this is the way you conduct yourself, to manipulate, to lie, to coerce, to pressure, to cause people to comply in a way that, well, they don't want to. It's not in their nature to do what you tell them to do because, well, what you're asking them to do is ridiculous. If you lead like that through lying and manipulation, through delaying the answer until the answer doesn't really matter anyway. I don't know if you've watched over the last couple of years, the number of times that some of these appointed and highly regarded officials, some elected, some appointed, have sat in front of the people that we, the people, have elected and sent to represent us in this representative republic. They sit together in a group many call Congress, some call a clown show. But in this group of people, their job is to take my opinion and your opinion and what you want out of life and what I want out of life and mesh those together and present them to the rest of the world and go, okay, those of you in the highest levels of leadership, this is what people want. And when they bring those people in and say, okay, so help us understand this issue or this incident or this list of facts or those events that happened or these events that are about to happen, they get lies and confiscations. They get abdications of responsibility and duty. They don't even want to talk about it. They answer with questions like, that's still under investigation. 4 years later, you haven't found a truth, not even one. We have people still sitting in horrible conditions, by some descriptions worse than Gitmo, over an event that happened that some would say, and I would agree, the violence, the destruction, absolutely unnecessary, unwarranted, should never have happened. But some of those old ladies, they didn't break anything. They didn't even make it inside to take a picture with their cell phone, and they are still rotting away for having an opinion. Listen, if the bear is still coming into your yard and eating your children, stop feeding the bear. If you have stopped feeding the bear and it's still coming into your wildlife area, call wildlife control and have the bears relocated. And if wildlife control will not do the job of relocating the bears, then find some means by which you can do the job as a leader with a little passionate fire about your own home and say, enough is enough, I'm drawing the line. Bear, I'm meeting you at the fence. And if you so much as put a bear claw on my fence, I'm taking your claws off. And next it'll be your head, me and my kitchen spatula. Or whatever necessary wireless device I have to put an end to a stupid bear. And if you as a parent, as a leader, are not looking at your team, your organization, your children, your country, with the kind of vigor that says, enough is enough, stop it with the bear nonsense. I'm done with the bear scat in my backyard, and that bear scat being my children. It's not going to happen again. I'm putting my foot down right here. Stop with the silliness in my school system. Stop with the silliness in I can't even take my kids to dinner in a small town of 6,000 people without having the kind of people that tried to do the Olympic grand opening show up in front of my dinner table. There's a time and a place for everything. I didn't come to get a hamburger and that kind of show. Take that show to the place where that kind of show is expected. Don't bring the bear into my backyard. I don't like bears in my backyard. If I want to see a bear, I'll go to the woods or I'll go to the zoo. But I don't need bears in my backyard. Stop with the bears in my backyard. Stop with the nonsense in my home through the digital devices and the videos and the movies and oh my gosh, lions and tigers and bears, oh my. All of the nonsense is being shoved down the throat of our children in the name of education, and it's the worst kind of indoctrination. Why do you think everybody from Dr. Jordan Peterson to PragerU to Simon Sinek and Seth Godin have looked at the education system and went, yeah, we could do better. We could do better. In fact, I think the idea of having a pet house cat, ferret, gerbil, parrot, would be better than having a pet bear. And yet, some families still think, well, I'll feed the bears and they'll be nice. Because I feed them, they'll be nice. They've only eaten 4 of my 7 children, so maybe if we feed them more, they'll eat fewer of our children. No, it doesn't work like that. They're bears. That's what bears do. They're going to eat your children. If you let them in your backyard, they will eventually be in your living room. You think I'm kidding? Just search YouTube bear videos. They will open your car door. They will charge through your windows. They will chase your cat. They will chase your dog. They're not afraid of much of anything, including humans most of the time. And they will pursue you. And they will consume you. Because that's what bears do. Don't expect to put a top hat and a miniskirt on a bear and expect behavior to be different. It doesn't happen. Dress it up any way you want to. It's a bear. It eats people. That's what they do. I can introduce you to a friend who can tell you firsthand how many surgeries, how many days, months he spent in the hospital after defending his brother from a 7-foot tall, 600-pound grizzly bear. Eventually, they got away with their lives, but just barely. It was not a fun experience. I've heard the whole story. Holy cow, I don't want to be there. Eat me now, get it over with. I don't know that that's something I want to live through. He's got an incredible story, but I'm not sure that's something I want to live through any more than I want to live through Gitmo. I'm just saying. There are things in my life that I would draw the line and go, I don't want to go there. I don't want to be a part of that exercise. I don't want to go through this drill. I don't want my grandchildren to be sitting in a restaurant eating a hamburger and have a hot dog flinging around their head because someone thinks they need to see this. No, there's a time and a place for everything. Do what you want to do on your own dime, but don't bring it in my backyard. It's my backyard. I'll meet you at the fence. I'll remove your claws. I might have a spatula in my hand, and I might have some other wireless device. But if you keep coming in my backyard, Mr. Bear, you and I are going to have a problem. And there will be a time that I will leave my backyard hunting bear, and I will come into your bear's den, and your kids and I will have a little talk about bear boundaries. And until you as a leader, as a family leader, as a team leader, as a pastor, i.e. shepherd of a congregation leader, someone responsible for the well-being of others, whether you're an elected official or a private citizen trying to go about their own business, if you don't get passionate about your home, if you don't get passionate about what's going on in the space you occupy, you will not occupy that space long. If you're not willing to look up and go, oh, that was a misdirection, and that was a lie, and that's straight up criminal, and they shouldn't be doing that, and they have no right to do that, and that doesn't belong here, and wait, is that a bear in my kitchen? If you're not willing to open your eyes and look around and say, I'm tired of the nonsense. I don't live in a zoo. I don't expect zoo animals in my kitchen, or my bedroom, or my bathroom, or my den, or my television. Keep the zoo animals where the zoo animals belong. Keep the bear food where the bear food belongs. Stop with the lies, stop with the nonsense, stop with the manipulation, just, I don't know, tell the truth. Or at least, don't lie. I believe our court system is still based on individual justice. It's supposed to be the same for everybody. But it all starts with the same request of any witness, anyone who testifies. Will you tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? To obfuscate an answer, to be ambiguous, misleading, incomplete, deceptive, doesn't meet that criteria. At that point, your sheep's clothing has fallen off and I can see you're a bear. I'm not fooled anymore. I recognize the lies. Trust me, when those little claws land on my fence line, you and me, we're going to have a problem. And I challenge you as a leader to have the moxie to say, me and mine, my house, my church, my county, if I'm an elected official, my city, my state, my region, my nation, I'm going to defend it. I'm going to protect it. And if you're still in the place where you're going, what's this metaphor for bears? I don't know. Just start watching the news. Somewhere besides the big four. Get outside the mainstream media and do a little research of your own. Just watch some podcasts, for heaven's sake. I don't care where they are in the say, he's just so weird. That's just so weird. He's weird. Where does that come from? What does that mean? What do you mean he's weird? Better question. Isn't it weird to you that all of them are saying it at exactly the same time? That, my friends, that's weird. That's what's weird. Not the guy they're calling weird. And for the people who immediately buy into that, like, oh, no, I'm on his side, but it is kind of weird. No, you're just being brainwashed right along with the other weirdos that weird is weird, and you don't even know what the word weird means or where it came from or what it is they're trying to call weird. They disagree with him, and they're kind of terrified about calling names because they know calling names is pretty evident that you're biased. But you know, we can say something's a little weird. I mean, we're just trying to defend our democracy. We don't have a democracy. We don't live in one. Our founding fathers intentionally said, a republic if you can keep it. Why did they not say a democracy? Because our founding fathers repeatedly said every democracy lives and dies the same way. It's born in violence and it ends in violence. Why would you want one? Democracy is 5 wolves voting with 1 sheep to decide what's for dinner. I don't know, mutton? That's like asking the bear, well, if we negotiated, how many of my children would you eat? That's not a negotiation. Those are my children. Put your paws on that fence and let's see. How long before it takes me to find a spatula? My territory, my space. Those are the ones that I care about. Those are the ones that I defend. Those are the ones I will stand my ground for. And if anybody's going to be eaten by a bear, you better start here, because you and me, Mr. Bear, we're going round and round and round. I know a man who fought a bear to save his brother. And that is not beneath me. Bears, you should know that. Those are my children. That's my wife. Those are my grandchildren. And they don't belong to the community. They may be a part of it, but they don't belong to it. You don't own them. And the community's children are the community's. No, they are children of the community, not the community's children. You understand the difference? It's not just the apostrophe after community. It's not a possessive description. The community doesn't own my children. It may benefit from them. They may participate in it. They may be a big part of it. But they don't own him. My kids. I'm responsible for them. You don't believe me? Just let them violate a law when they're a minor and see who they talk to about it. Yeah. But if you're a bear, and you know if you're a bear, just understand that fence line, that indication of what's yours and what's mine may be your last stand. Maybe mine. But at that place where your bareness encroaches on my humanity, that place where your rights become privilege, where they begin to encroach on my rights, that place where you're being a bear, a devourous, conniving carnivore, looking to annihilate everything that's not bear. That could be the end of you. And I challenge any of you watching this, if you're a leader in any capacity, if there's anybody who looks to you and says, what do we do now? It's time for you to find your passion for your home. And realize the bears are at the door. And if they're not at the door, then they're at the fence line. And if they're not at the fence line yet, get your binoculars. I promise you, they're at a minimum hiding in the wood line, right along the edge of the trees, little heads down in the grass. They're stalking you. They want to eat you. They want to devour you. They want to turn you into bear scat. And this is no exaggeration. It's just reality. Now, what you've got to ask yourself is, in this metaphor, who are the bears in my life? And how will I defend myself against them? And if you genuinely believe that if you be nice to the bears will be nice to you, you're not a leader. You're a fool. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast, or Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.
Loren is a master teacher on storytelling, and I learned so much. I'm really going to have to sit down and go back through everything, and I think I might have to have some more coffees with Loren, but it was totally worth my time, and I really highly recommend it if you're looking to grow your ministry, grow your business, grow your career. Loren will serve you well.
Thank you.